Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show engineered to cut through the noise and deliver the critical insights you need to stay not just informed, but genuinely ahead. In an era defined by relentless information overload and, frankly, dizzying technological acceleration, how do you, the listener, avoid getting swept away and instead truly thrive? We are undeniably living through a pivotal moment, one where artificial intelligence isn't merely another tool in your digital toolbox. It's rapidly becoming your indispensable co-pilot for navigating the professional world. So today, our mission for this deep dive is crystal clear. We're going to thoroughly unpack precisely how generative AI can profoundly transform your professional productivity and, maybe even more critically, bolster your career resilience. Our goal here is to hand you a strategic roadmap, arm you with practical skills, and instill a forward-looking mindset specifically designed for mastering this new AI-augmented landscape.
And to expertly guide us on this journey, we've conducted a meticulous deep dive into an incredibly insightful source, the AI Augmented Professional, a strategic guide to the top 20 skills for unlocking productivity and career resilience by Rick Spare. Now, this isn't just a guide about, how to use AI for a few quick tasks or simple queries. Instead, it's about fundamentally rethinking and changing how you interact with technology at its core. It positions you not as a passive user simply responding to prompts, but rather as an AI architect, someone who actively designs, directs, and orchestrates these incredibly powerful systems to achieve your specific professional objectives.
That's exactly right. It's a total mindset shift. Over the course of this deep dive, we'll cover everything from the absolute foundational skill of prompt engineering, which, as you'll discover, is far more nuanced and strategic than just casual conversations, to advanced techniques for tackling truly complex problem solving. We'll then explore how to genuinely personalize your AI co-pilot, making it an extension of your unique workflow, and how these powerful capabilities are actively augmenting core professional functions across various industries. And perhaps most importantly for your long-term career, we'll zero in on the uniquely human skills that are not only irreplaceable, but will serve to future-proof your career in this new era. It's going to be packed with surprising facts and immensely practical insights, so get ready. All right, let's dig into this. The absolute bedrock of truly leveraging generative AI like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini isn't just casually chatting with them. No, it's about mastering the art of the prompt. This isn't just a friendly interaction with a chatbot. It's a disciplined, structured approach, what our source material very aptly calls a form of conversational programming. The fundamental truth here is strikingly simple. The quality of the AI's output is always a direct reflection of the quality of your input. You genuinely get out what you put in, right?
Exactly. Or, maybe more accurately, what you precisely ask for in a structured, deliberate way. You've captured it perfectly. Think of it this way. A large language model, or LLM, is an absolutely phenomenal, raw intelligence. Capable of processing and generating vast amounts of information. But crucially, it needs exceptionally clear and specific instructions to perform at its best and deliver precisely what you need. The source introduces a wonderfully powerful and practical framework for achieving this. The 4 pillars of prompting: task, context, voice, and format.
Yeah.
This structured communication practice is what elevates your interactions from getting generic, often inconsistent responses to consistently receiving precise, relevant, and truly valuable outputs. It's about being as clear, concise, and intentional with the AI as you would be when delegating a critical high-stakes task to a human assistant.
Okay, let's break those down one by one. First, there's task. This is your explicit instruction, the clear directive on what you want the AI to do. The source really hammers home that ambiguity in this pillar is the single most common cause of unsatisfactory AI output. You just can't be vague. You simply can't just say, help me with this report. That's far too vague. It leaves too much to the AI's interpretation. Instead, you need to use specific action-oriented verbs like analyze, create, summarize, translate, compare, or classify. So rather than the vague help with this report, a vastly superior prompt would be summarize the key findings of the attached research paper in a bulleted list. This precision eliminates guesswork for the AI, channels its immense capabilities toward a measurable outcome, and essentially gives it a clear, actionable job description.
Exactly. And then we move to context, which the source emphasizes is arguably the most critical pillar.
Really? More critical than the task itself?
Well, maybe not more critical, but it's the foundation upon which the other pillars stand. LLMs, as we mentioned, operate only on the information you provide within the prompt. That's key. If you don't supply them with sufficient background, relevant facts, specific data, or the necessary source documents, even the most precisely defined task will result in a generic, uninformed response.
Or worse, right? Like those hallucinations we hear about.
Exactly, where the AI confidently makes things up. For instance, merely saying, analyze the company's profitability, leaves the AI adrift. It has nothing to work with. But
Yeah.
based on the attached Q3 financial report, analyze the company's profitability trends over the last 3 quarters. Now that gives it a specific data set, grounding its analysis. Or another example, given that global temperatures have demonstrably risen by 1 degree Celsius over the last century, discuss the potential long-term socioeconomic consequences for coastal communities. The more relevant specific context you provide, the more grounded, accurate, and truly valuable the AI's output will be. It prevents the AI from pulling from its general, potentially outdated, or even irrelevant training data, ensuring its response is tailored to your specific reality.
Makes sense. Okay, next up we have voice or tone. This is all about specifying the stylistic and rhetorical character you want for the output, making sure it's perfectly appropriate for your intended audience and specific purpose. You use descriptive adjectives here to guide the AI, right?
That's the idea.
So for a formal business proposal, you'd specify a formal and professional tone. For a customer service response addressing a frustrated client, perhaps empathetic and reassuring to de-escalate the situation. And for a punchy social media post aimed at a young audience, perhaps friendly and engaging, or even edgy and humorous. This ensures the content doesn't just convey information, but also resonates emotionally, connects with the target audience, and ultimately achieves the desired communicative effect. It's about making the AI sound like you, or your brand, or the specific persona you need it to embody for that task.
And finally, there's format. This pillar explicitly tells the AI exactly how you want the output structured and presented. Without this crucial instruction, you often end up with a brilliantly written, but let's face it, structurally useless block of text.
Right, that dense wall of words you then have to manually fix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which entirely defeats the purpose of efficiency and automation. So you specify a bulleted list, a 500-word essay with an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion, a table with 3 columns for product, sales volume, and profit margin, or even a JSON object with specific key value pairs. Providing this clear blueprint for the deliverable upfront saves you significant time and ensures the AI's output is immediately actionable and usable.
What's truly powerful and frankly quite insightful about these 4 pillars, as the source points out, is that they're not just a simple checklist to fill out, they're a powerful diagnostic tool.
Yeah, that's a really smart way to think about it.
When an AI's response isn't quite right, you can systematically pinpoint exactly where the breakdown occurred. Was the task ambiguous? Was there not enough context provided? Was the voice descriptor too vague, leading to an inappropriate tone?
Or did you just forget the format?
Right. Or did you simply forget to specify the format, resulting in that text blob? This transforms what can often feel like frustrating trial and error into a methodical, precise process of refinement.
It's like debugging your conversation with the AI.
Exactly. This isn't just a checklist. It's your new debugging superpower for AI interactions. Imagine no more guessing why the AI got it wrong. You'll know exactly which pillar to adjust, turning frustration into precise control. It reframes prompting from a mystical art into a quantifiable skill of precise specification, akin to defining software requirements or briefing a junior team member on a critical project. It puts you back firmly in the driver's seat.
Okay, so beyond just the structure of the prompt, one of the most potent techniques for eliciting truly expert-level output is assigning a persona to the model. Directives like act as a senior marketing strategist or assume the role of a seasoned financial analyst consistently yield far more sophisticated, nuanced, and relevant outputs than generic queries.
That makes so much sense intuitively, but how does that actually work under the hood? Is the AI just putting on a hat and pretending? Does it truly think differently?
It's a fantastic question, and what's fascinating here is that assigning a persona goes far beyond simply mimicking a tone or style. It acts as an incredibly powerful contextual filter. An LLM is trained on an astronomical amount of text, encompassing every imaginable subject, profession, and communication style. When you give it a generic query, it tends to generate an average response, a kind of broad, middle-of-the-road answer.
Right, the default setting.
Exactly. But by assigning a persona, you effectively constrain that vast knowledge space. You prime the model to prioritize specific vocabulary, reasoning patterns, problem-solving methodologies, and knowledge domains inherently associated with that particular role. It moves beyond an average response to one that embodies deep, specialized expertise. Consider a lawyer prompting. Act as a legal expert specializing in contract law and review the attached clause for potential ambiguities, citing relevant precedents. Or a medical researcher who might say, as a medical researcher, please summarize the methodologies and key findings from these 5 abstracts, focusing on novel diagnostic techniques. This ensures the output reflects the specific expertise and communication style required by that profession, not just general knowledge.
So it's not just about what it says, but how it thinks about the problem, the specific lens it applies. That's a significant difference.
Precisely. This technique activates a distinct reasoning framework within the AI. For instance, if you ask an AI acting as a skeptical investor to analyze a business plan, its internal logic will prioritize financial projections, risk factors, potential liabilities, market validation.
It'll look for the weak points.
Exactly. It'll look for weaknesses. But if you then ask the same AI, now acting as an enthusiastic product manager, to analyze the same plan, it will instinctively prioritize user experience, feature innovation, market differentiation, and growth opportunities.
Totally different focus.
Completely different. This profound distinction allows a single user to effectively simulate a multi-stakeholder review process without ever leaving their desk. You can have the AI review a project proposal, first as a financial analyst to vet the budget and ROI, then as a marketing lead to assess the go-to-market strategy, and finally as a chief technology officer to scrutinize technical feasibility.
That's incredible, like having a whole advisory board in your chat window.
Pretty much. This systematic approach allows you to uncover potential blind spots, anticipate objections from different departments, and refine your proposals, ultimately allowing you to build a far more robust product or strategy before you ever present it to human colleagues. It genuinely transforms the AI into a sophisticated, multifaceted, strategic sparring partner, bringing diverse expertise right to your fingertips.
That's a huge leap from just generating static text. Now let's turn our attention to iterative refinement, the art of conversational programming. My gut tells me this is absolutely central to getting not just a good output, but the perfect output.
You're absolutely right. The most productive and successful AI interactions are almost never single-shot exchanges, where you just drop a prompt and accept the first answer.
Right, it's rarely perfect first time.
Exactly. The initial prompt is truly just the opening salvo in what should be an ongoing dialogue. The crucial skill here is developing the ability to analyze the AI's first response, identify its strengths and weaknesses, and then provide targeted conversational feedback to progressively guide or sculpt the output towards your desired final state. It's a continuous dynamic feedback loop. Prompt, review, refine, repeat.
So you effectively start with a broader request to get a baseline draft, and then you just keep narrowing it down and finessing it.
That's the ideal approach.
Yeah.
You might begin with a relatively broad request to quickly generate a baseline draft, then review it, and use a series of precise, targeted follow-up prompts to steer the AI. For instance, you could start with, write a marketing email for our new software product, Quantum Leap. After the first draft comes back, you might refine. Okay, that's a good start, but make the tone more urgent and add a clear call to action for a free 14-day trial, emphasizing immediate benefits.
Getting more specific.
Right. Then, perhaps, now rewrite the second paragraph specifically for a highly technical audience, focusing on the underlying architecture, API integrations, and scalability. This dynamic back and forth gives you a level of nuance, control, and precision that a single, incredibly long and detailed prompt simply cannot achieve. It allows you to adjust on the fly, just as you would with a human collaborator.
And this all relies on the AI remembering what you said throughout the conversation, maintaining that context, right?
It does, and that's a key part of its power. LLMs are stateful within a conversation. They retain the full context of the preceding turns of dialogue within that specific chat session.
So each prompt builds on the last one.
Exactly. Each follow-up prompt isn't an isolated command. It's an instruction that modifies the AI's existing understanding and continues to build upon the current task. If you start a new chat for every minor variation or refinement you need, you're essentially rebooting the AI's context and forcing it to start from scratch each time, which is incredibly inefficient and frustrating.
Yeah, that sounds tedious.
It is. A truly professional user who masters conversational programming views the entire conversation's history as a valuable asset, understanding that they are building upon a single evolving conversational thread to construct a complex, multi-layered output.
That sounds like a smart strategy, almost like spending the first few prompts just setting the stage and providing all the background info.
Precisely. For highly complex tasks, like drafting a detailed multi-section report or creating a comprehensive project plan for a new initiative, you might dedicate the initial prompts entirely to setting up the AI.
Front-loading the context.
Right. This means you provide all the necessary background documents, meticulously define key terms, specify the precise target audience, outline the desired structure, and even provide relevant examples. Only after this foundational context is firmly established and understood within the conversational state do you then issue the prompt to generate the final complex output. This front-loading of context through an iterative setup process leads to far superior results and dramatically reduces the need for extensive post-generation editing. It perfectly mirrors providing a human assistant with a thorough and comprehensive briefing at the start of a critical project. By treating the entire conversation as a program to be iteratively built and modified, you transform from a simple question asker into an architect of the AI's output, capable of constructing highly complex and contextually aware results with unparalleled precision and efficiency.
Now, here's a technique that feels almost like magic. Few-shot learning. Guiding AI with high-quality examples. This feels like teaching the AI by showing it, not just telling it. It's almost like giving it a blueprint. Yeah.
It's exactly that, and it's incredibly powerful. Few-shot prompting is a technique where you provide the AI with a small, select number of examples shots of the desired input-output pattern directly within the prompt itself. This is often dramatically more effective than lengthy, verbose, and complex instructions because the AI, being an exceptional pattern-matching engine, can infer the desired style, format, and underlying logic by analogy from these examples.
So instead of saying, translate this to French in a formal tone, ensuring it uses business-appropriate vocabulary, you'd just show it a couple of high-quality English to French business translations first.
Precisely. That's the key contrast with zero-shot prompting, where you give no examples, just a command, relying solely on its pre-trained knowledge. A zero-shot prompt would be, translate hello world to French. A few-shot prompt, on the other hand, would look like this. Here are some examples of English to French translations for business contexts. Good morning, team. Bonjour, l'équipe. Thank you for your prompt reply. Merci pour votre réponse rapide. Now translate. Hello, world, and welcome to our conference. The AI then reliably applies the learned pattern, including the implied tone and vocabulary from your examples.
Ah, I see.
This is incredibly useful for stylistic tasks, specialized data extraction, or those requiring a very specific non-standard output format that might be hard to describe with words alone. For sentiment analysis, you could give it text. This new update is fantastic, truly groundbreaking. Sentiment. Positive. Text. I'm so frustrated with this persistent bug, it's making my work impossible. Sentiment. Negative. Text X. The performance is adequate, nothing exceptional. Sentiment. Neutral. Text. I can't believe how fast and responsive it is now, a true game changer. Sentiment.
And it would just complete it.
And the model would accurately complete it with positive, based on the pattern it learned from your examples.
And it consistently applies that pattern. This sounds like it could be a massive time saver for repetitive tasks, ensuring consistency across the board. But are there any pitfalls? What if your golden examples aren't truly golden, or perhaps contain biases you didn't intend?
That's a critical point,
Yeah.
and you're spot on. This is a form of real-time, in-context model training, and just like any training, the quality of your input directly affects the quality of the output.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Exactly. The examples you provide are not just content. They are direct specifications for the transformation the model should perform. It deduces the underlying logic, structure, and style. Because of this, the quality of your examples is absolutely paramount. 2 or 3 meticulously crafted, high-quality examples, thoroughly vetted for accuracy, consistency, and any unintended biases, are far more effective than providing 10 mediocre or inconsistent ones. The pitfall you highlight is very real. If your examples are flawed, the AI will faithfully reproduce those flaws. So the profound strategic application here, and what truly makes this, a really key insight, is to cultivate a personal or team-based library of these golden examples for your most common and critical recurring tasks.
Like a reusable asset library.
Exactly. These become reusable assets that effectively codify your personal expertise or your organization's standard of quality. When a task needs to be performed, you simply copy and paste these high-quality shots into your prompt, instantly training any LLM to meet that specific standard. This ensures consistency, saves you from writing detailed, complex instructions every single time, and dramatically increases the quality, reliability, and speed of the AI's output. It's about codifying your team's collective genius into a reusable, instantly trainable asset. Think of it. Your best work, instantly trainable for any AI, anytime, consistently delivering your standard of excellence.
And finally, a key skill for the modern professional is understanding model nuances. Tailoring prompts for ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. It's clearly not a one-size-fits-all world out there, is it?
It absolutely isn't. While they're all built on similar foundational principles of large language models, these leading platforms, OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, and Google's Gemini, each possess distinct architectural strengths, training methodologies, and almost what you could call inherent personalities or preferred interaction styles.
Right.
A prompt that is perfectly optimal and yields fantastic results for one model might be suboptimal or even confusing for another.
Hmm.
For instance, OpenAI's ChatGPT, especially models like GPT-4, are highly detail-oriented and exceptionally contextually adaptive. It generally responds best to structured, specific, and unambiguous prompts.
Good for technical stuff.
Exactly. Often excelling at tasks requiring high precision and strict adherence to complex instructions like nuanced code generation or in-depth technical analysis. Breaking down complex requests into logical substeps often yields superior results with ChatGPT.
And Claude. It feels much more conversational and perhaps a bit more artistic to me. Is that fair?
That's a spot-on observation. Anthropic's Claude is indeed designed for a more natural, flowing conversational dialogue. It's often highly praised for its strengths in creative writing, nuanced understanding of human emotion, and robust ethical reasoning. Claude tends to excel with broader guidelines and a more collaborative tone. If you're too prescriptive and rigid with Claude, you might inadvertently constrain its more organic, thoughtful, and often insightful response style.
So, better for brainstorming, maybe.
Definitely. Open-ended prompts like, "Can you help me think through the pros and cons of this strategic approach, exploring some non-obvious angles?" often work beautifully with Claude, where it acts more as a brainstorming partner.
And Gemini, being from Google, must have his own unique advantages given their vast data ecosystem.
You're right to connect it to Google's strengths. While specifics on Gemini gems are still emerging, the underlying principle is universally powerful. The ability to create and save personalized AI experts across platforms means your AI assistant isn't just smart. It remembers your goals, your preferences, and your unique instructions for recurring projects, regardless of the model. Gemini, given its deep integration with Google's vast ecosystem, everything from search to workspace applications, could potentially have an edge in tasks requiring real-time information access, multimodal input, like analyzing a Google Sheet or an image from Google Photos, or seamless interaction with other Google products. The essential skill for you, the professional, is to learn these nuances through deliberate experimentation and by observing how each model best responds to different types of queries and instructions.
So, the most effective professional isn't just an expert in one AI. They need to be a polyglot AI user, someone fluent in the strengths of multiple platforms.
Exactly. The most effective professional isn't just a ChatGPT expert or a Claude specialist, but a true polyglot AI user. They understand the relative strengths and weaknesses of each major model and strategically select the right tool for the job, much like a skilled software developer chooses Python for data science, but JavaScript for web development.
Right tool for the right task.
Precisely. Each tool is optimally suited for a different purpose or type of problem. The practical advice here is clear. Maintain access to and familiarity with multiple AI services. Develop an intuition for which model excels at what. ChatGPT for complex code generation and precise technical analysis, Claude for nuanced, empathetic communication and creative brainstorming, and Gemini for the latest web index research or integration with your daily productivity suite. The durable skill here isn't merely mastering one tool's current quirks, but cultivating the meta skill of quickly learning and adapting to the nuances of any new AI model that emerges.
Adaptability is key.
Right. It's about being model agnostic and consistently focused on fundamental principles of interaction, making your adaptability the ultimate career asset. So, we've laid the groundwork for how to speak to AI directly, mastering the art of the prompt and understanding model differences. But what happens when you need it to solve problems that are genuinely hard? The kind of multi-layered challenges that require deep thought, strategic reasoning, and intricate planning. That's where we move beyond simple prompts to advanced techniques that transform AI into a true intellectual sparring partner, allowing you to offload some serious cognitive lifting.
Indeed. This is where the AI truly transforms from a simple text generator into a sophisticated partner in analysis, strategy, and reasoning, allowing us to leverage its capabilities for complex, multi-step problem solving.
The first of these advanced techniques is chain of thought, prompting. Deconstructing problems for superior reasoning. This powerful method guides LLMs to explicitly break down complex problems into a sequence of intermediate logical steps before arriving at a final answer. It effectively prompts the model to think out loud, or, as some researchers put it, to engage in slow thinking.
So instead of just asking for the answer, you're essentially asking it to show its work, just like in a high school math class where you had to lay out every step.
Precisely. That's a perfect analogy. The simplest way to trigger this is through zero-shot chain of thought, COT, where you just append a phrase like, let's think step by step, to your prompt.
Oh, just add that phrase.
Yeah, often that's enough for simpler problems. For even more complex problems, few-shot code provides one or more examples that show not just the final answer, but also the detailed step-by-step reasoning used to arrive at that conclusion. The benefits are significant. It dramatically improves performance on complex reasoning tasks, logical deductions, arithmetic calculations, common sense problems. By deconstructing the problem into smaller, manageable pieces, the model focuses more of its processing power and attention on each individual step, significantly reducing errors.
And you can see how it got the answer.
Exactly. It also provides crucial transparency into the AI's thought process. If the answer is incorrect or seems off, you can pinpoint exactly where the logic went wrong and correct it, turning a black box into a glass box. It's the equivalent of telling a human analyst, don't just give me the bottom line, show me your work so I can validate your logic and trust your conclusion. It forces the model into a robust, deliberate, slow thinking mode, rather than a shallow, fast thinking that can sometimes lead to plausible but incorrect answers due to superficial pattern matching.
Interesting distinction, fast versus slow thinking for AI.
Yeah. This transforms the AI from a simple answer generator into a transparent problem solver, allowing you to inspect its logic and understand how it arrived at its conclusion, building trust in its results.
That's incredibly powerful for building confidence in AI outputs. Building on that, the source also discusses tree of thoughts, Tutiki, systematically exploring multiple solution paths. This sounds even more advanced, almost like the AI is branching out its thinking.
It is indeed. Tree of thoughts is a significantly more powerful and sophisticated reasoning framework than simple chain of thought. Instead of following a single linear path of reasoning, 2T enables the LLM to explore multiple different reasoning paths in parallel, structuring its exploration like the branches of a tree.
Wow, okay.
This allows it to deliberately consider various possibilities, evaluate their potential, and even backtrack from unpromising paths to explore alternatives. It much more closely mirrors complex human strategic thinking, problem-solving, and creative exploration.
So it's not just showing its work, it's exploring different ways to get to the solution, like a human might brainstorm multiple approaches to a problem.
Exactly. It typically uses two types of prompts within its process. Proposed prompts, to generate potential next steps or alternative lines of reasoning, and then value prompts to have the LLM self-evaluate the promise or likelihood of success of each path it's considering.
So it judges its own ideas.
In a way, yes. The model then intelligently decides which branches of the thought tree to explore further and which to prune because they seem less promising. This ability to look ahead, evaluate options, and make global decisions about its problem-solving strategy is what truly sets TOTI apart. It has significantly superior performance for tasks requiring non-trivial planning, deep search, or the exploration of complex solution spaces where the optimal path isn't immediately obvious, like intricate logical puzzles or strategic planning scenarios. While chain of thought is like a chef following a well-defined recipe step by step, tree of thoughts is more like an innovative chef inventing a completely new dish,
Ah, nice analogy.
exploring different ingredient combinations, cooking methods, and flavor profiles. It is more resource-intensive, computationally, but it's indispensable when the path to a solution isn't known in advance or when multiple valid approaches exist. Professionally, this technique elevates AI to genuinely generative and strategic work. Imagine a manager using 2T to develop multiple potential go-to-market strategies for a new product. First, they might prompt the AI to generate 5 distinct high-level approaches.
Okay.
Then they'd use the AI to evaluate the pros and cons of each as a critical business analyst, considering market trends, resource constraints, competitive landscapes. Finally, they'd select the most promising approach and prompt the AI to elaborate on it in detail, developing a full plan.
So it becomes a real strategic partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It transforms the AI from a simple executor into a strategic partner capable of planning, foresight, and innovative problem-solving.
Fascinating how these models can simulate higher-order thinking. And then there's self-consistency, achieving accuracy and reliability through consensus. This sounds like a way to have the AI double-check its own work, almost like peer review for the AI.
That's a great way to put it. This technique significantly improves accuracy and reliability for tasks where there's a single correct answer. It operates on the principle that while there might be multiple reasoning paths to a problem, the correct ones should all ultimately converge on the same answer.
Makes sense.
Instead of just taking the very first answer the model generates, you prompt it to generate multiple, diverse reasoning paths for the same question. You typically achieve this by slightly increasing the temperature parameter.
What does temperature do again?
Think of it as turning up the creativity dial or allowing the AI a bit more freedom to explore different thought processes, make less predictable choices.
Okay, got it.
Then, you select the answer that appears most frequently in the final conclusions of these diverse outputs, essentially taking a majority vote.
So it's like an internal consensus mechanism within the AI itself.
Exactly. For a complex word problem, for example, 2 out of 3 reasoning paths might converge convincingly on 67, while one path is flawed and leads to 35. Self-consistency would confidently select 67. This is a profoundly practical strategy for mitigating the inherent probabilistic and sometimes stochastic nature of LLMs, meaning any single generation could potentially be an anomaly or an outlier.
Right, because they don't always give the same answer.
Precisely. By sampling multiple attempts and looking for a consensus, it uses statistical validation to filter out those outliers and identify the most robust answer. It's the AI equivalent of getting a second opinion, or maybe more accurately, getting several opinions and trusting the overwhelming consensus. For any high-stakes professional tasks like calculating critical financial figures, interpreting complex legal clauses, or validating a crucial data point, applying a self-consistency check is an absolutely crucial quality assurance step that significantly boosts trust in the AI's output.
All right, let's connect this to the idea of a broader, more automated workflow. The source talks about prompt chaining and agentic workflows, building automated, multi-step processes. This is where it sounds like we move from single interactions with the AI to full-blown, intelligent, automated pipelines that work for us.
Indeed. This is a powerful escalation. Prompt chaining involves breaking down truly large, complex tasks into a sequence of smaller, more discrete prompts, where the output of one serves as the precise input for the next.
Like an assembly line.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
This creates a logical chain or workflow that guides the AI through a multi-stage process with far greater control and precision. It's important to distinguish this from chain of thought, which happens within a single prompt for a single problem. Prompt chaining involves multiple separate prompts executed sequentially to build a sophisticated composite result over time.
Give us a concrete example. How would that look in practice for a typical business task, like writing a report?
Okay, perfect example. Imagine you need to generate a comprehensive market analysis report, something that would typically take days or weeks of manual effort. You wouldn't just ask for it all at once. Instead, you'd chain it. Prompt 1, research and data extraction. Analyze the attached industry reports and extract the top 5 emerging market trends for the enterprise SaaS industry in 2025. Present them as a bulleted list, citing sources.
Okay, step 1, get the trends.
Right. Prompt 2, outline generation. Using the 5 trends from the previous output, generate a detailed 7-section report outline, including a compelling executive summary.
Step 2, structure the report.
Prompt 3, drafting section 1. Using the generated outline, write the introduction and the first section of the report, focusing specifically on the implications of AI integration within SaaS. And you'd continue this for all subsequent sections, providing fresh prompts, feeding the previous output as context. You might then have a final prompt 7, final Polish. Combine all drafted sections, review for overall consistency in tone and style, correct any factual redundancies, and ensure a seamless narrative flow for a C-suite audience.
I can see how that maintains rigorous control and ensures quality at each granular stage. It also sounds like it helps manage the context window limitations of LLMs by feeding them only the most relevant information for each specific subtask, preventing information overload for the AI.
Exactly. This modular approach is key. When these prompt chains are formalized, whether in a simple script you write yourself or a more sophisticated low-code, no-code framework, they evolve into what are known as AI agents or agentic workflows.
Ah, agents. I've heard that term.
Right. These are automated systems that can execute incredibly complex, multi-step tasks with minimal human intervention. So what's the profound implication here? You, the professional, transition from being the direct doer of the task to being the strategic designer of the automated workflow.
So your job shifts upwards, strategically.
Precisely. Your value shifts fundamentally to your strategic ability to decompose a complex problem into its constituent parts, design an efficient and logical sequence of AI-driven operations, and ultimately oversee the final synthesized output for quality and strategic alignment. This skill of process architecture and automation is absolutely fundamental to leveraging AI for truly scalable productivity gains across any organization. It's about orchestrating intelligence, not just interacting with it.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting for your personal productivity.
Hmm.
We're moving beyond just generic AI interactions to unlocking its true power by making it a specialized assistant, deeply integrated with your unique context, your specific data, and your daily workflows. This isn't just a tool, it's a bespoke co-pilot.
That's the core insight. This is about building and effectively training your own bespoke AI copilots without needing to write a single line of code. It's a complete game changer for individual and organizational productivity, transforming how we work at a fundamental level.
Let's talk about building your custom toolkit, creating bespoke GPTs and Gemini gems. This sounds like creating your own personal AI army tailored to your exact needs.
In essence, yes, it truly is like building your own specialized digital workforce. The era of interacting with AI solely through ephemeral, one-off chat sessions is rapidly evolving. The next frontier, and a massive opportunity for professionals, is creating persistent, customized versions of these powerful AI models that are pre-configured and pre-trained for specific, recurring professional tasks. OpenAI's GPTs, for instance, allow you to create custom ChatGPT versions by combining very specific instructions, an expansive knowledge base of uploaded files, like your company documents or personal notes, and integrating built-in capabilities like web browsing, data analysis, or image generation.
So a marketing professional could build a brand guardian GPT that lives and breathes their brand guidelines.
Exactly. They would feed it precise instructions on the company's brand voice, upload comprehensive style guides, and provide examples of past, high-performing marketing materials as its core knowledge base. This custom GPT then instantly becomes a one-click expert for drafting perfectly on-brand copy, reviewing communications for consistency across all channels, or brainstorming campaigns that flawlessly align with the brand identity.
Wow. It's like having an always-on, perfectly trained junior copywriter.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Google's equivalent to this, these Gemini gems.
Right. Google's Gemini gems allow users to create and save personalized AI experts that remember your specific goals, preferences, and recurring instructions for ongoing projects. A project manager, for example, could create a weekly reporting gem by instructing it on the specific format, key metrics, and stakeholders for their weekly status report.
So it remembers how you like your reports.
Exactly. Each week, they just provide the raw updates, and the gem automatically generates the perfectly formatted report, complete with the right tone and details based on its memory of past reports. Similarly, a sales leader might create a deal review gem to analyze CRM data consistently. While specifics on Gemini's underlying mechanisms for gems are still emerging, the universal principle is profoundly powerful. The ability to create and save personalized AI experts across platforms means your AI assistant isn't just smart. It remembers your unique goals, your preferences, and your specific instructions for recurring projects, regardless of the underlying model.
And Anthropic with Claude, how do they approach personalization? Is it different?
Anthropic's Claude styles focus more acutely on output-style customization. Users can select from preset tones, but more importantly, they can generate entirely new custom styles by uploading examples of their preferred writing.
So based on examples again.
Right. So a corporate communications team could upload several of their meticulously crafted press releases, quarterly reports, and internal memos to create a corporate comms style. This ensures any future drafts generated by Claude, be it internal announcements or external statements, perfectly match the company's official tone, lexicon, and rhetorical character.
This truly sounds like a fundamental shift in our relationship with software. Historically, we as users adapted to the software's rigid structure. Now we can create bespoke tools that are perfectly adapted to our unique workflows. Our digital toolkit is becoming less about off-the-shelf applications and more about a custom collection of AI agents we built and continually refine.
That's the key takeaway, and it's a profound one. The value proposition here isn't merely incremental efficiency gains. It's about codifying your own unique expertise, your proprietary processes, and your organizational standards into a scalable, constantly available digital assistant. Your value as a professional, especially a knowledge worker, will increasingly be measured not just by your individual output, but by the quality, effectiveness, and strategic impact of the custom AI toolkit you've architected and deployed. It's a new form of intellectual capital.
Now let's get into grounding AI in your reality. Leveraging Retrieval-Augmented Generation, RAG, with your data. This sounds absolutely crucial for businesses worried about, data privacy and accuracy.
This raises an important question for any organization. How do we ensure AI output is not only smart but also accurate and relevant to our specific proprietary reality? RA, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation, is arguably the most critical technology for the secure, accurate, and truly effective enterprise adoption of generative AI.
Okay, RAG. Got it.
It fundamentally changes a model's behavior by connecting it to an external, authoritative, and often proprietary knowledge base. Your company's internal documents, your project files, your customer data. This ensures AI output is always grounded in factual, up-to-date, and contextually specific information, rather than just its general and potentially outdated training data.
So how does it actually work? Does the AI just rummage freely through all my private files? That sounds risky.
Not at all. It's a structured and secure process. When you upload your documents to a custom GPT, a Gemini Gem, or a similar enterprise RAS system, you're engaging with this specific architecture. The process is precise. You ask a question or issue a command. The system then intelligently queries your user-provided documents, meticulously retrieves only the most relevant snippets of information.
Just the relevant bits.
Right, just the relevant snippets. It combines those snippets with your original question and then feeds that augmented prompt to the LLM. The LLM then answers based almost exclusively on that precise provided context from your documents. It's like giving the AI a very specific, curated library to draw its answers from for that specific query.
That sounds like it directly solves two of the biggest, most talked about issues with general AIs. The knowledge cutoff problem where they don't know recent stuff and that tendency for hallucinations.
Exactly. It absolutely overcomes the knowledge cutoff by giving the AI immediate access to the latest, most up-to-date information present in your proprietary knowledge base. And yes, it dramatically reduces hallucinations by forcing the model to base its answers on specific, verifiable text directly from your documents, rather than relying on its broader generalized training data, which could lead to confident but incorrect assertions. Crucially, it's also an incredibly cost-effective way to specialize a model with your unique domain-specific knowledge without the immense expense and complexity of retraining the entire underlying model from scratch.
So you don't need to build a whole new model.
Not at all. RAG leverages the existing power but grounds it.
This must be truly transformative for individual professionals and entire organizations.
Completely. It allows you to create a secure, private AI expert that is uniquely knowledgeable about your specific operational reality, your company's internal workings, and your proprietary data. You can securely ground AI in your team's project files, your company's internal wiki, sensitive customer feedback transcripts, or proprietary industry research that no public AI has access to. So, for example, a project manager can ask about key risks identified during an uploaded Q2 meeting transcript and get an accurate, specific answer grounded in that document, not a general guess.
Wow.
The AI moves from being a public knowledge engine to a deeply personalized, secure, and context-aware collaborator that understands your business inside and out.
So your role shifts then.
It does. Your new role, then, shifts significantly to becoming the AI librarian, or knowledge curator. Your strategic ability to select, clean, organize, and structure the right documents for a high-quality, relevant knowledge base is precisely what makes the AI powerful, accurate, and useful for your specific needs. It's about designing the intelligence's information diet.
Moving on to mastering multimodality. Integrating text, images, code, and data in your workflow. This truly highlights how AI is becoming a universal tool, not just limited to text generation. It's breaking down the walls between different data types.
Absolutely. This is a crucial evolution. Modern generative AI models are no longer confined to just understanding and generating text. They're increasingly multimodal, meaning they can seamlessly understand, process, and generate content across various formats, including text, images, code, and structured data. Mastering the integration of these modalities into your daily workflow is rapidly becoming a critical professional skill.
So we can actually upload an image and ask questions about it, or even ask the AI to modify it, like make this logo blue.
Exactly. Image input is incredibly powerful for providing rich, visual context and understanding. You can upload a screenshot of a software UI and ask for design feedback, provide an architectural diagram for explanation or analysis, or upload a complex chart and ask for data analysis. This provides visual grounding that text alone simply can't convey.
Okay.
And conversely, with image output, you can ask the AI to generate custom images for presentations, create storyboards from scripts, or develop product mock-ups from simple text descriptions, all within the same conversational flow.
And what about code and structured data? How does multimodality apply there?
Code is another critical modality that AI handles with increasing sophistication. Modern AIs can generate, debug, explain, and translate code across multiple programming languages, treating code as a distinct, manipulable language.
Even if you're not a coder.
Well, it dramatically accelerates developer work, but it also helps non-developers understand technical concepts and can even enable professionals with limited coding experience to handle simple scripting or data manipulation tasks. Similarly, with data as input, professionals can upload structured data files like CSVs or spreadsheets directly into the AI and use natural language to request complex analysis, create various visualizations, or generate insightful summaries. This fundamentally democratizes data analytics, making sophisticated insights accessible without needing to master programming languages like SQL or Python, especially with the tools like Julius AI that are specifically designed for this.
Okay, let's unpack this. This means a single professional can literally orchestrate incredibly complex, multifaceted projects within one AI chat session without ever leaving that interface. You could literally prompt the AI, analyze this uploaded sales data, CSV input, generate a clear bar chart visualizing the Q3 trend image output, write a concise 3-paragraph executive summary of the key insights, text output, and finally draft a Python script to automate this entire report generation process for future use, code output. That's truly mind-blowing efficiency and cross-functional capability.
It truly breaks down traditional workflow barriers. Previously, that complex workflow might involve 4 different specialists: a data analyst, a graphic designer, a content writer, and a software developer, each using their own specialized software tools.
Right, lots of handoffs.
Exactly. Now, a single professional can orchestrate it, acting as a generalist who directs specific intelligent agents. This has profound implications for job roles across industries. It vastly empowers generalists, allowing them to perform tasks previously reserved for specialists, and simultaneously encourages specialists to think more holistically across different domains. The most effective professionals will be fluent in these cross-modal workflows, significantly reducing handoff friction, communication overhead, and the time typically lost moving between different tools and teams. AI, in this multimodal sense, becomes a universal translator and an all-encompassing tool, effectively dismantling functional silos within a single user's workflow.
Now that we've covered the powerful tools and how to personalize them to your unique needs, let's shift our focus to how this all plays out in your daily work, how AI becomes your superpower in augmenting core professional functions that you perform every single day.
Exactly. This section is about providing concrete, actionable examples of how to seamlessly integrate these burgeoning skills into your daily workflows for tangible and immediate gains in productivity, efficiency, and the overall quality of your output. It's about understanding how the professional shifts from being a manual executor of tasks to becoming a strategic director of AI-powered capabilities.
Let's start with supercharging research and synthesis. From literature reviews to market analysis. This is where AI seems like it could make the biggest, most impactful dent in historically time-consuming tasks.
It absolutely does. AI radically accelerates traditionally laborious research tasks like comprehensive literature reviews, in-depth market analysis, or synthesizing vast amounts of customer feedback processes that were historically bottlenecked by manual effort and endless hours of reading.
Yeah, the drudgery of research.
Right. Specialized AI research assistants are fundamentally transforming this landscape. Tools like Elicit, for example, can automate systematic academic reviews, a process that can take months manually, by searching through 125 million academic papers and extracting key data points, methodologies, and findings in mere minutes, reducing review time by up to 80%.
80%.
Yeah, it's huge. Similarly, platforms like Consensus and ResearchRabbit help you find incredibly relevant papers, visualize the connections between different research topics, and synthesize key findings from vast scientific literature with remarkable speed.
And are the general AI models like Gemini also getting into this deep research space, or is it just specialized tools?
No, the general models are catching up fast. Gemini's deep research feature, for example, can autonomously browse hundreds of websites, intelligently reason over its findings, and then generate multi-page cited reports that synthesize information from disparate sources, saving you literally hours of manual web research and fact-finding. This fundamentally transforms your role from a manual information gatherer to a strategic director of the entire research process.
So what's left for the human to do?
The critical parts. The critical human tasks in this new paradigm become: first, formulating insightful questions. The quality of the AI's research output depends entirely on your ability to ask well-framed, specific, and non-obvious questions that push the boundaries of current knowledge. Second, Critically evaluating the synthesis, you must rigorously review the AI's output for accuracy, potential bias in its sources, logical consistency, and completeness. You're the quality control.
Right, the editor-in-chief role again.
Exactly. And third, identifying gaps and generating novel hypotheses by automating the summary and synthesis of known information. AI frees up your cognitive energy to identify what's not known, to spot critical gaps in existing research, and to generate novel, breakthrough hypotheses for future inquiry.
So it completely changes the economics of curiosity, as the source puts it. Reduced time for literature reviews and market analysis means professionals can investigate far more questions, leading to faster innovation and truly interdisciplinary insights. Our value shifts profoundly to those most skilled at asking the right new questions and interpreting the answers.
Okay, next up, automating content creation and repurposing. Scaling your voice and message. This feels like an obvious, high-impact use case for generative AI, given its ability to produce text.
It certainly does. AI is revolutionizing content creation, enabling the production, refinement, and distribution of high-quality, on-brand content at an unprecedented scale and speed. But it's not just about hitting generate, is it?
Not at all. It's about powerfully augmenting the workflow, not replacing the irreplaceable human creativity and strategic insight.
Yeah.
Exactly. The human sets the core strategy, defines the audience, and crafts a meticulously detailed brief using our 4 pillars framework. Then, AI writing assistants like Copy.ai or Jasper can rapidly generate high-quality first drafts of everything from blog posts to social media updates to email newsletters.
Okay, so it gives you a starting point.
A strong starting point.
Yeah.
The human then steps in to review and refine for accuracy, polish the prose, and most importantly, inject that unique voice, strategic insight, and creative spark that the AI cannot genuinely replicate. You are the editor-in-chief taking the AI's raw, often generic output and molding it into something truly impactful and differentiated. Once the core content is finalized, other AI tools like Descript can instantly transcribe video or podcasts into text, which can then be repurposed into blog posts, social media clips, or even short ebooks.
Making content go further.
Exactly. And visual AI tools like Adobe Firefly can generate supporting visuals or refine existing images to match the content's theme.
This means the dreaded blank page syndrome essentially vanishes. The new bottleneck, and therefore the new locus of value, shifts dramatically from content production to strategic refinement, quality control, and infusing authentic perspective.
Precisely. Your most important contributions are your discerning taste, your critical judgment, your profound understanding of your audience, and your ability to align content perfectly with overarching business goals and brand identity. Professionals with a strong, unique point of view can use AI as a massive force multiplier, allowing them to disseminate their message widely and consistently. Conversely, generic, unedited AI output, no matter how quickly generated, will simply be lost in an ever-growing sea of undifferentiated content.
Just more noise.
Exactly. The premium in the market shifts fundamentally from sheer production volume to the unique perspective and quality that only a human can provide.
Let's move to enhancing data analysis. From cleaning and visualization to narrative insight. This truly democratizes data access and analysis, moving it beyond just the realm of highly technical specialists, right?
It absolutely does, and it's a profound shift. Generative AI fundamentally breaks down technical barriers in data analysis, transforming every single stage of the data workflow using natural language interfaces. For data preparation, which is notoriously time-consuming, AI can accelerate processes like identifying and rectifying inconsistencies, imputing missing values, detecting outliers, and even generating synthetic data for testing.
The grunt work of data analysis.
Pretty much. For the actual analysis, AI features built into platforms like Google, BigQuery, and Databricks assist data professionals with writing and editing complex SQL or Python queries, optimizing query performance, and automating metadata management. But even more transformative are standalone tools like Julius AI, which allow any business user to simply upload data files, CSVs, spreadsheets, and ask questions in plain English to get immediate answers, sophisticated analyses, and custom visualizations.
That's a massive paradigm shift. It means business managers can now directly engage with their data and extract actionable insights without needing to know a single line of SQL or Python. You could upload a quarterly sales spreadsheet and simply ask, what were our top-selling products in Q3 by region, and how does that compare to last year's performance? Show me a bar chart, and then summarize the key takeaways in 3 bullet points for our executive meeting. And the AI can generate both the visualization and the compelling narrative explanation.
This completely redefines the analyst's role. As mechanical, repetitive tasks automate, the analyst's value shifts profoundly to three critical areas. First, formulating strategic business questions using their deep domain knowledge to ask the most insightful, impactful, and non-obvious questions of the data.
Asking better questions again.
Always. Second, critical interpretation, validating the AI's findings, questioning its assumptions, identifying potential biases, and uncovering deeper, non-obvious implications that the AI might miss. And third, data storytelling, weaving AI-generated findings into compelling, actionable business narratives that persuade stakeholders and drive strategic action.
So less technical, more strategic communication.
Exactly. Data analysis transforms from primarily a technical discipline to fundamentally a strategic communication discipline. The competitive advantage will rapidly go to those who can best use AI-powered tools to quickly explore hypotheses and translate complex data into clear, compelling stories that drive tangible business outcomes.
Finally, in this section, let's talk about accelerating software development. AI is a pair programmer, debugger, and architect. This seems like an enormous productivity boost for developers, freeing them from the tedious parts of coding.
It truly is. AI tools are rapidly functioning as indispensable coding assistants, profoundly augmenting every phase of the development lifecycle. This accelerates timelines, dramatically improves code quality, and crucially, frees developers for higher-level, more creative, and strategically impactful challenges. Tools like GitHub Copilot provide real-time, context-aware code completions, intelligent suggestions, and even entire boilerplate code blocks directly within integrated development environments, maintaining developer flow and accelerating the writing process.
So it writes code alongside you.
Essentially, yes. For debugging and refactoring, developers can paste error messages or problematic code snippets into chatbots like ChatGPT or Claude for step-by-step explanations, proposed solutions, or suggestions for improvement. AI can also efficiently refactor code for better performance, improved readability, or even translate code between different programming languages. The augmentation extends to testing and documentation, with AI automatically generating robust unit test cases and comprehensive documentation from code comments, saving immense time.
So this elevates the developer's role from just being a line-by-line code author. They're becoming more like a conductor of an orchestra, maybe.
Exactly. They transition from merely being code authors to high-level system architects and meticulous quality controllers. Their workflow becomes inherently more strategic. It begins with problem decomposition, deeply understanding business requirements and breaking complex problems into logical, manageable components. Then comes AI-assisted generation, guiding AI to generate the underlying code for those components with clear, natural language instructions. And crucially, the most important new role is critical review and validation.
Again, that human judgment.
Absolutely. This is where the human developer truly shines, rigorously validating the AI-generated code for correctness, identifying potential security vulnerabilities, ensuring optimal performance, and verifying its alignment with the overall architectural vision.
So the AI provides the bricks, but you, the human, are the architect of the building. So what's the real impact for professionals? This lowers the barrier to entry for software creation, allowing more people to build, while simultaneously significantly increasing the productivity of experienced developers. This is leading to what some are calling a Cambrian explosion in software, with more applications being created faster than ever before.
That's right.
The most valuable developers will be the best thinkers, strong in design principles, abstract problem solving, and expertly guiding and validating AI-generated code rather than simply writing every line themselves.
This raises an important question, perhaps the most critical one for your career resilience. As AI automates more and more technical and analytical tasks, what truly makes us as humans indispensable in the professional landscape? It's not about trying to compete with AI on its terms because, let's be honest, you will likely lose that race.
Right.
Instead, it's about profoundly cultivating uniquely human skills that AI simply cannot replicate, skills that will differentiate you in the years to come.
This final section outlines the three most critical human skills for thriving, not just surviving, in an AI-augmented professional landscape. Let's get into them.
First, and arguably most critically, is developing critical judgment, becoming the editor-in-chief of AI output. While AI outputs are increasingly fluent, sophisticated, and plausible, they can still be biased, factually incorrect, or fundamentally misaligned with your specific goals or the nuances of a situation. The ability to critically evaluate, rigorously fact-check, and judiciously refine AI-generated content is a non-negotiable professional responsibility.
So it's about shifting your mindset from being a passive consumer of information to becoming an active, even skeptical editor, treating every AI output as a highly competent but still first draft.
Precisely. You must actively question the AI's work. What are its underlying assumptions? Can the factual claims be independently verified with authoritative sources? Are there any logical fallacies in its reasoning? Does it address the full nuance of the problem, or is it overly simplistic? Is the tone perfectly appropriate for the audience and context? You serve as the final human gatekeeper for quality, accuracy, ethical considerations, and strategic alignment.
That sounds like a big responsibility.
It is. The explosion of easily generated AI content will create an unprecedented signal-to-noise problem in our information ecosystem. The bottleneck in many industries shifts dramatically from content production to discerning truly valuable signal from overwhelming noise. Professionals with consistently high judgment and intellectual rigor will become indispensable human validators, the trusted arbiters relied upon to separate the wheat from the chaff. Their job security will stem directly from their vital role as the ultimate arbiters of quality and truth in the human-AI partnership.
So your judgment is your value.
Exactly. You are the editor-in-chief, and the AI is your infinitely prolific but sometimes unreliable staff writer. The editor's human judgment and discernment are what ultimately create the final, valuable product. Secondly, we need to focus on cultivating strategic and creative thinking, using AI to ask better questions. AI automates routine, repetitive, and even complex analytical tasks, which is fantastic. But this automation frees up an enormous amount of human mental bandwidth for higher-order thinking, deep strategic analysis, genuinely creative problem-solving, and the most crucial skill of all complex problem framing. The future of knowledge work isn't found in providing answers, which AI can often do with startling speed. It's found in formulating the right questions.
So this means leveraging AI as a catalyst for deeper, more impactful thinking, not just a simple crutch, almost like an intellectual sparring partner to push your own boundaries.
Exactly. Use AI as a powerful brainstorming partner and an intellectual provocateur. Prompt it to generate a wide array of ideas, even the absurd or unconventional ones, specifically to break you out of conventional thinking patterns. Then, apply your uniquely human ability to connect disparate concepts, synthesize innovative solutions, and recognize true breakthroughs. Use AI to play devil's advocate, challenging your own assumptions and biases. This involves a fundamental shift in how you prompt. Instead of simply asking, "What is the answer to X?" you ask questions designed to deepen your own understanding and more thoroughly explore the problem space.
So prompts like, what are the 5 most critical unstated assumptions in my current business strategy and how might they unravel? Or generate 10 unconventional marketing approaches for this niche product, including 3 that are high risk but potentially high reward.
Yeah, push the boundaries.
Or even whose perspective is entirely missing from this analysis and how might they argue their case from the point of view of our biggest competitor?
Those are perfect examples of using AI not for answers, but for enhanced insight. Perhaps the greatest contribution of AI to knowledge work will ultimately be its ability to elevate the quality of human thought. It removes the drudgery of information processing and content generation, allowing us to focus our precious cognitive energy on the uniquely human tasks of truly defining problems, framing complex challenges, and making strategic decisions under uncertainty.
So the profound implication here is that your ultimate value will be found not in having all the answers at your fingertips, but in being the person who consistently knows what strategic questions the organization should be asking the AI and how to interpret its insights. The most effective and secure professionals will harness AI as a lever to think more deeply, more creatively, and more strategically than ever before.
And finally, and perhaps most importantly for long-term career resilience, it's about honing emotional intelligence and communication. The irreplaceable human interface. In an increasingly AI-augmented world, skills rooted in genuine human-to-human interaction, empathy, active listening, persuasion, complex negotiation, nuanced collaboration, and inspirational leadership become the primary differentiators and the very bedrock of your job security.
Because AI, no matter how advanced, simply cannot truly understand unspoken client needs, authentically build trust with diverse stakeholders, navigate complex organizational politics, or genuinely inspire and motivate human teams. These remain exclusively uniquely human abilities.
Precisely. As AI automates more routine and even sophisticated analytical work, a significantly greater proportion of your professional day will naturally be spent on collaborative and interpersonal activities. High-stakes meetings, delicate negotiations, impactful presentations, compassionate mentoring, and effective conflict resolution.
The soft skills become the hard skills.
You could say that. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, will become paramount. The AI-augmented professional will increasingly function as the crucial human interface, or bridge, between the cold, logical, data-driven outputs of AI systems and the complex, often messy, and deeply emotional reality of the business world. For example, an AI can precisely identify the optimal budget cuts needed for profitability. It takes a human leader to explain why those cuts are necessary with empathy, address concerns, and maintain team morale through uncertainty.
Right. The human touch is crucial.
It is. An AI can draft a perfectly optimized sales proposal. It takes a human salesperson to build authentic rapport, understand subtle client hesitations, and ultimately close the deal through trust.
So the future of work isn't about a human competing against an AI. It's truly one human AI team competing against another human AI team, and the winning team has superior human skills.
Absolutely. And in that competition, AI's technical capabilities will increasingly become table stakes, a necessary but not sufficient condition for success. The decisive competitive edge will consistently go to the team with superior human skills, the team that can collaborate more effectively, communicate more clearly and persuasively, lead with greater empathy and vision, and adapt to rapidly changing human dynamics. Investing deeply in your soft skills is not a retreat from technology. It is, in fact, the single most strategic way to prepare for a future where technology is ubiquitous and its outputs are commodity.
So focus on being more human, essentially.
That's a good way to put it. Job security will be highest for those who are not only skilled AI operators, but also exceptional communicators, empathetic collaborators, and inspirational leaders. If we connect this to the bigger picture, proficiency with generative AI is not a static skill set that you master once and then forget.
Right. It changes so fast.
It absolutely requires continuous adaptation because models, their features, and the best practices for using them are evolving at an unprecedented, almost dizzying pace.
This is about long-term career resilience, building your personal veil, a systematic intelligence gathering process to perpetually stay at the absolute forefront of these developments.
What's a veil exactly?
It's basically a French term for watching or monitoring, building your intelligence network. This brings us to our final skill, building your AI veil, following key researchers, newsletters, and conferences to stay ahead. This deliberate, multi-pronged approach to information consumption and knowledge acquisition is no longer a luxury. It is a professional necessity for thriving in this landscape. You need to be actively curating your information flow to stay sharp.
So who are the key people and places that you, the listener, should be following right now to keep up? Where do you start?
The source highlights following the true pioneers and leading research labs for direct insight into the fundamental breakthroughs and the theoretical underpinnings that drive this field. Think of Turing Award winners like Geoffrey Hinton and Jan LeCun, and influential leaders and brilliant minds such as Andrew Meng, Fei-Fei Lei, Andrej Karpathy, Demis Hassabis, and Ian Goodfellow.
The heavy hitters. Exactly. Their associated labs, Google DeepMind, OpenAI, Stanford's HAI, and Meta AI, are consistently publishing the groundbreaking papers and driving the innovations that define the state of the art. Understanding their work provides a deep conceptual foundation.
Okay, but for busy professionals who simply can't read every academic paper, what's the most efficient way to keep a pulse on developments?
For efficient digestion of the very latest news, crucial tool releases, and summaries of cutting-edge research, high-signal, low-noise newsletters are absolutely invaluable.
Any recommendations?
The source specifically recommends several excellent ones. The Rundown for concise daily updates, Mindstream for a blend of news and practical tutorials, Ben's Bytes for insights into AI startups and new applications, TLDR AI for quick, digestible summaries of complex research papers, and the Neuron for more detailed industry breakdowns and strategic analyses. Subscribing to even a handful of these can create a powerful, curated daily or weekly briefing that keeps you informed without overwhelming you.
And for deeper technical understanding and networking, the major conferences and publications must be key, right?
Exactly. For deeper, more technical understanding and to immerse yourself in the leading edge, academic conferences like NeuroPS, ICML, ICLR, and AAAI are where fundamental, groundbreaking research is formally presented and debated. For industry-specific insights, practical applications, and strategic discussions, events like the Data plus AI Summit, the AI Summit, and A4 provide invaluable case studies, workshops, and networking opportunities.
Building and diligently maintaining this personal veil is truly the ultimate long-term job security strategy in an AI-augmented world. In a field defined by constant, rapid, and often unpredictable change, attempting to master only the current set of tools and techniques is a strategy with a built-in expiration date. The only truly durable competitive advantage you can cultivate is radical adaptability. By proactively creating a systematic process for continuously acquiring new knowledge, you transform from a static knower to a dynamic learner who not only keeps pace but actively evolves with the technology itself. This continuous learning and adaptability are, without a doubt, the ultimate forms of career resilience in the AI age. And that wraps up our deep dive today. We've journeyed from mastering the absolute foundation of prompt engineering to understanding advanced AI techniques for complex problem solving. We then explored how to truly personalize your AI copilot, making it an extension of your own professional identity, and how these capabilities are profoundly augmenting core professional functions, from high-stakes research to scalable content creation, precise data analysis, and accelerating software development.
And we ended by emphasizing the crucial human imperative, developing acute critical judgment to meticulously curate AI output, cultivating deep strategic and creative thinking to ask truly better questions, and continually honing your emotional intelligence and communication skills to remain the irreplaceable, empathetic human interface in an increasingly technology-driven world. These are the uniquely human skills AI simply cannot replicate, and they will be your bedrock.
So, as you go forth and architect your AI augmented career, consider this provocative thought. The future isn't about what you already know, but how fast and effectively you can learn, adapt, and intelligently apply that knowledge with AI as your powerful co-pilot. Your most valuable asset isn't just your current knowledge base, but your innate human ability to ask the right, insightful questions, to guide your AI partner with precision, and crucially, to remain profoundly human in a world of accelerating automation. We challenge you. Which of these skills will you cultivate first to truly future-proof your career? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the AI augmented professional. We truly hope this is giving you a powerful, actionable roadmap for your own career resilience and growth. We'll see you on the next deep dive.